coin? Chaya's got the coin. Tails is the call. Tails it is. Rubina, you've won the toss. What would you like to do?
We'll bowl first.
And any changes to your 11?
We'll just put in the bowler in instead of batter, yeah.
Like I said, massive stakes. Whoever wins gets to play India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Thailand. You know, what's the feeling in the dugout right now about, how big this game is?
Obviously, we have been fighting to qualify from last 10 years in every stages. So it's like very big tournament for us. So girls are very serious about that and very, enjoyable as well. So the environment is very clean, positive. Let's hope for the good match.
Absolutely. Best of luck for today. Chaya, you have lost the toss. Had you won, what would your decision have been?
Well, to be honest, we've elected to bat first, and that's something that we got. Looking at the pitch, it looks quite decent and flat wicket. We wanted to put a good total and then let the opponent defend it.
Any changes to your 11?
We've got one change, and that's Ritika is out.
And it's a similar question, absolutely massive stakes. What are some of the conversations you're having in the dugout right now?
Well, we are not taking the semi-final pressure on us. It's just another game for us. We're just taking one game at a time, and this is another one for us. And hopefully girls are really excited and just 2 more steps away from the so-called dream coming true.
Absolutely. Best of luck for today, Chaya.
Thank you.
So there you have it, the news from the Welcome to match day 7 here at the ACC Women's T20 Championship, one of 2 semi-finals between the UAE and Nepal. We're already underway here. Kabita Kunwar, she's into her first over. Here we go. That's a back of a length on the offside. Backward point does good work there, Indu Burma. But the news from the middle is Nepal have won the toss and decided to field first. But like we said, absolutely massive stakes. The winner of this game will go through to the Asia Cup, where they will play India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Thailand. I'm one of your 2 commentators for the day, Jay Dancing Hani, and it's been a pleasure being joined by Yusri Rauf.
Thank you, Jay. Good day. Yeah, there's a slight delay for the toss, but still no harm for the starting time. And
here we go. That's too wide and a misfield there at backward point. An incredibly untidy start here from Nepal and bonus runs here for the UAE.
That was a basic mistake over there by the fielder.
Yes, absolutely. Just letting that go through your legs. And actually from Nepal, the ground fielding in this tournament has been really good so far. So I was incredibly surprised by that backward point. You've got to do better. But Isha Oza, she's not going to complain, coming fresh off her 2nd ever T20I half century in that last game.
Yeah, it should be like, I would say that nerves.
Yeah, Kavita Kunwar. Here she is. Ooh, back of a length, just pushed to Rubina Chaitri. I beg your pardon, Sita Rana Magar. They're in the cover region.
Ajay, that early on the day, a little bit nerves need to be settled in on a big semi-finals against UAE.
Absolutely. Playing against the pre-tournament favorites here, Nepal. It's not going to be easy for them. You have to say they're coming into this contest as underdogs. Here we go. Kabita Kunwar trying to close out this first over. A slip in position. Oh, that one coming off a thick inside edge goes down to fine leg for a single.
You can see a little bit of small
Yeah, you're absolutely
hint of
right.
swing.
Yeah. And we do have a bit of cloud cover here at the Kinrara Oval. I'm optimistic, however, that the rain will stay away. The drainage, of course, at the Kinrara Oval, absolutely top class.
Exactly. You know, Kinrara is one of the best grounds in the heavy rains overnight. You could start on time. About 15-20 minutes ago, there was a covers over there in the middle. And here we go. 11 o'clock. We have the game.
Absolutely. I was a little bit nervous, much like yourself. But hey, credit to the ground staff, credit to this Kinrara drainage as well. Absolutely world class. And here we go, Tirtha Satish facing up to Kabita Kunwar coming over the wicket. That's watchfully played and a good bit of work there at backward point.
She's getting a hint of swing to the both sides.
Absolutely. That's the end of the first over. We're just going to load up our live scores here at the commentary box. I trust that everything's okay on your broadcast.
Yeah, 7 runs on the first over. Nepal, Team Card, Apsari, Ashmina, Dolly, Indu, Jyoti, Kabita, Bindu, Mamta, Rubina, Sangita, and Sita Rana for Nepal.
Sita Rana Mugger. I have a feeling she's going to have a role to play in this game. I was down there for the pitch report. Apologies. The toss. And I noticed that there were some cracks in the wicket. Yusri Ralph, I'm so glad to have you for company in the comm box. The dream team is here. Jay and Yusri. But more importantly for me, it's been 35 hours of commentary so far in this tournament. Here we go. Oh, that one just missing the off stump. Some more luck here for Isha Oza. It's been a bit of a streaky start for Isha Oza. Got that inside edge as well. Down to fine leg in the first over.
It was lucky miss though. Still getting settled in early in the day.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, if anyone deserves any luck, it's Isha Oza. An absolutely magnificent innings that against Qatar. And peppered that region between long on and mid wicket. And it's interesting to see Nepal with no cover in the deep. In that region I just mentioned, that's been whipped away off the legs. No run on offer.
6-3 field for Isha Oza.
And if you're just joining us, the news from the middle, of course, is Nepal won the toss and decided to bowl first. Interestingly, Chaya Mughal said, hey, we would have loved to bat first anyway. Here we go. Ashmina Karmacharya. A bit of a false start there. I just noticed Ashmina not running in quite as quickly as she did in the early stages of this tournament. I wonder if she's just carrying a bit of an injury, or perhaps just a bit of a niggle for Ashmina Karmacharya.
It was an interesting call. Yes, Nepal called it right with the weather conditions, the cloud cover. And
here we go, Ashmina. That one just coming back into the right-hander. And a useful dot ball for here for Nepal, I beg your pardon. Just getting a little tongue-tied here in the comm box.
Yesterday, overnight's rain could have been another call for making to go for bowling. Else it's a good batting track in Kinrara Oval. Probably UAE looking to get that 100 to 150 runs and put the scoreboard pressure on Nepal.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what happened in that final group game at the ICC T20 World Cup Asia qualifier back in November. So a rematch of sorts here between these two teams that's pushed off the back foot, an easy single to deep cover.
Good bowling so far from Ashmina.
Yes,
Bowling to her
absolutely.
field.
Keeping it simple as well. Not giving too much width there to the right-hander. Good amount of movement for her as well. And bowling to the left-handed Tirtha Satish for the first time today, coming around the wicket.
She's having that high arm action, moving the ball early in the day. Yeah, using the conditions very well.
Yes, without a doubt. And we have a 6-3 offside field here. A third man down at the boundary. We've got a gully, a backward point. We've got a cover, an extra cover, and a mid-off, all in the circle. Here we go. Ashmina. No, that's too straight, Ashmina. Lucky to get away with that one. Lucky that Tirtha Satish did not get any bat on that. But at a 6-3 offside field, you cannot afford to drift onto the left-hander's pads.
Just right call there. But Mr. Kalidas.
Absolutely free bonus runs here for the UAE. You have to bowl to your field. It's a 6-3 offside field. Here we go. Looking to do better. Oh, yet again. Lucky to get away with this. A little bit of pad on that as it goes through to the keeper. So a dot ball.
Even previous delivery, it was lucky that it didn't go to the boundary. Wide boundary on the leg side. Jyoti Pandey was the wicket keeper. Then the Stamps done a great job to stop that.
Absolutely. There are some massive gaps there on the leg side.
Opening up that.
There's nobody at square leg or deep square leg, Yusri. That's the issue I have. She finally gets her lines right. There's a mix-up and a chance here.
That's throw could have been over the stumps and could have been a wicket for Nepal. Missed opportunity.
Yeah, you're right. You hit the nail on the head there. Missed opportunity. Nonetheless, it's 9 for no loss after 2.
Yeah, UAE had a nervous start for both the teams. UAE team का छाया मुगल, एशा उजा, Induja, Kavisha, Kushi, Priyanjali, Samyaira, Sia, Suraksha, Tirtha, and Vaishnavi.
Here we go, Kabita Kunwar. Oh, that one just keeping a tad low. It goes into the gully region, a dot ball. But a reminder here, Kabita Kunwar dismissed Isha Oza in that game we were talking about, that final group game of the ICC T20 World Cup Asia qualifier back in November. On that occasion, Kabita Kunwar coming from around the wicket. And I wonder if she's going to try that again today. But for now, second delivery of the third over. Kabita Kunwar. Oh, that one just drifting onto the legs. And yet again, Nepal. It's a 6-3 offside field. You've got to bowl. Perhaps at that middle and off line.
Interesting call. Only change for in the leg side. For Isha Uza, they have a short mid wicket. Whereas for the Tirtha, they have a square leg. Yes, this time they have a mid wicket. There's no square leg fielder.
Look, it goes without saying, Nepal, they need early wickets right now. You got Kavisha Egodege coming in next as well. Here we go. Kabita Kunwar. Oh, on the legs yet again. And once again, the batter just getting a bit of a touch on that. So it's going to be a dot ball.
The batter was he was asking for that white call from the umpire, but yeah, she moved so close to her body.
Absolutely. That umpire there, Tabarak Dar from Hong Kong, former Hong Kong men's player as well. Tabarakdar. Here we go. Kabita Kunwar over the wicket. On the leg stomp. That's whipped away. This could be Tirtha Satish's first boundary. You better believe it is. 14 for no loss. 2 deliveries left in the third over.
You can't do this kind of silly mistakes at a big game like semi-finals of ACC T20 Championship.
Mate, you hit the nail on the head there. 2 straight. And that vacant gap there at square leg and deep square leg. Easy pickings for Tirtha Satish. Once again, on your screens, you can see her just eyeing up that leg side region.
Yeah, the fine leg region being moved almost towards the deep square leg region, but she's in between the square leg and deep square leg and a fine leg.
Absolutely.
And still keeping that 6 and 6-3 field. If you're bowling into that leg and middles line, you need to have at least one more fielder at the leg side.
You hit the nail on the head there, mate. I could not agree more. And yes, good observation as well. That fine leg, a very squarish fine leg. Yusri, there we go, right on cue. Another fielder being moved into the leg side now. So a change of tactic and a change of field setting as well.
Yes, there's a square leg fielder right now, and there's a fine leg. Now that line is a better line.
And unlike most left-handers for Tirtha Satish, she is very leg side dominant. Kabita Kunwar, oh, there you go.
Brilliant. It was springing in, nice swinging in delivery. For a moment, I thought it will be going towards the 4th and 5th stump, and the last moment it moved into the batsman.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure watching Kabita Kunwar bowl. Nepal's best chance of taking a wicket here early in the power play. And not for the first time, drawing the inside edge of the batter, the left-hander this time. 1 delivery left in the third over. That's pitched up, a bit of swing in, a quick single attempted. Direct hit? No. Rubina Chaitri, she was in quickly and disappointed with herself not to hit directly on the stumps. It's 15 for no loss after 3.
It seems like it hit the bells, but she's inside her permissible line. Probably she was a little bit hesitant to run towards the ball.
I wonder if we're going to see a change of bowling. In fact, that might be a false alarm. It looks like Ashmina Karmacharya is set to continue from the other end. A really good first over that from Ashmina. I believe just 2 runs coming off it. Absolutely. Yusri so helpful to my left, loading up that scorecard. Yusri Ralph always keeping his eyes on the numbers. Very numerical person, Yusri Ralph. Here we go. Ashmina from around the wicket.
Oh, bowled! That's the wicket they were looking for.
Absolutely, Ashmina Karmacharya. Once again, that movement into the left-hander and a massive moment in this game. First wicket down for the UAE. They're 15 for 1. 1 delivery into the 4th over. Tirtha Satish. She goes for 5 off 8 deliveries.
Yep. And Nepal has done it and put in the early pressure on UAE with a wicket. That's what they required. Because if you allow UAE batters to settle in, they're gonna thrash you. They're gonna be all over you.
Mate, you hit the nail on the head. And the thing is with the UAE, those top 3 batters, Isha, Tirtha, Kavisha, there's a big gulf between them and the rest of the batting lineup. And that's not me taking shots at the rest of the batting lineup. It's merely stating the fact that these 3 batters are 3 of the best players in this tournament. So if you want to beat the UAE, you have to get not just 1 early wicket. You've got to get 2, 3 early wickets. You get past that top 3, and it's a completely different contest. So a big early inroad here for Nepal, getting that early wicket of Tirtha Satish. But they're going to need to get either Kavisha or Isha out quickly to make this a more interesting contest.
Kavisha into the middle. Yeah, as you said, Jay, you need that early wickets to put that pressure on the middle order of UAE.
But I like this from both fast bowlers. Ashmina into the attack yet again. Into bowl, I beg your pardon. She's into her second over. So much better here. On a couple of occasions, Nepal drifting onto the legs, drifting onto the pads, in spite of a 6-3 offside field. So much better here from Ashmina, bowling exactly to her field.
Point from the UAE, they will be trying to these two to hang around for a while, go until about over number 10.
Playing a miss that one, just playing over that delivery. Kavisha Kumari Igodige yet to get off the mark.
For UAE, the first 10 overs will be the crucial overs with the weather conditions. Ball will be swinging in. Just hang in there. Keep the scoreboard ticking.
There we go, Kavisha. Just counting the number of fielders on the leg side. You could see it on her fingers as well. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. It's on the leg stump. Perhaps missing out there on this occasion. Sita Rana Magar in like a flash from mid-on to field that delivery.
Ashmita doing really well. She's keeping that 6-3 field to the off and keeping bowling that length of to the line of 4th and 5th stump. Bringing the ball into the batter.
Oh, a little wrong-footed there, Kavisha. Perhaps she should have been playing forward to that one. Another dot delivery. Nervous moments here for Kavisha and nervous moments for the UAE.
Is that a cross seamer? Because there wasn't any swing. So Kavisha was playing for a in swing.
Yeah, that's a good spot there. Perhaps just trying to get out of this over. It's been a good over. You want to keep it tight. So that was interesting there from Ashmina Karmacharya. Last delivery of the 4th over. That's pushed into the offside. A quick single attempted. Ooh, a direct hit. That's a big appeal. Oh, the umpire is thinking about it. But it's running down to the boundary. Is it going to be 4 overthrows? No, it's just about cut off. But the batter's there, interestingly, only running 1 bonus run. Yusri, definitely an additional 2 on offer.
Definitely. It could have been, if we had a third umpire, it could have been a third umpire score though.
But look at that. It's now 17 for 1 after 4. We've got a game on here at the Kinwala Oval. The semi-final here between Nepal and the UAE. The winner goes into the Asia Cup to face India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Thailand. Yusri, make no mistake, absolutely massive stakes.
Yep. It's a big game for both the teams. In the first semi-finals, Nepal versus UAE. Both the teams looking to.
Copy that.
Both the teams looking to win this game, qualify to the Asia Cup. And not only that, get one step closer to that ACC T20 Women's Championship. There's a bowling change from the com box. Sita Rana Magar to bowl. Spinner comes in the 5th over. It's a good, interesting call, Jay. When the ball is moving, start to bring a spinner straight away in the power play.
Yeah, see, it's interesting. Ooh, playing a miss. But yes, coming back to your point, it's very interesting because I was out there for the toss and I did notice some cracks in the surface. So there's that. It's one of those tough ones, right? Because like you said, you are getting that movement. But Sita Rana Magar, an absolute class act, won that title at the Fairbreak Invitational as well. Here we go. Won that title with the Tornadoes. The same team as Malaysian skipper Winnie Duray-Singham.
Jay, interesting to see Sun is breaking through the clouds right now for the first time today morning.
Absolutely. I love to see it. I absolutely love to see it. There's a good chance we get a full game in. That's smashed through the covers. Extra cover. There we go. A boundary for Isha Oza. She moves into double figures. She's 13 off 15.
Yep. It was too flighted, too full for Isha. Picked it really well.
There we go. Watchfully played on this occasion. Isha, she's already got that boundary in the over. And Isha, of course, she knows if you play out Nepal's best bowlers here, even if you only have 50 runs on the board at the end of 10 overs, if you don't lose another wicket, Isha and Kavisha are most definitely capable of stepping on the accelerator. There we go. That's turned away on the leg side. They're going to get at least a single. And that's all it's going to be. Fine leg runs around and cuts that off. So there we go. End of the 5th over. It's 22 for 1 after 5.
Five runs coming in that previous over. Ashmina continues from the far end. 2 overs, 4 runs for a wicket. 10 dot deliveries.
Oh, that's wide. Gives Isha Oza width. Perhaps lucky to get away with that one on this occasion. Isha Oza, of course, so strong on that square drive.
She's trying to bring the ball in from the far. She's trying to get a nick. That should be a slip.
Oh, that one a little bit uppish going into the cover region. It's going to be a single. I wonder, Yusri, if it's worth just getting that cover in a little closer into a short cover position.
Yep. Bringing that short extra cover towards the short cover position will be a good if she is bowling that line and keeping Kavisha on a check.
Here we go, Ashmina into her 3rd over. That's pitched up. That's 2 full. And that goes through the infield. It's going to be a single to deep cover. Bit of a misfield there. Got a bit of a blind spot, a bit of a curtain. Just blocking my view there. But that's okay. Isha Oza on strike. It's the last over of the power play as well. 24 for 1, the UAE. Now, Yusri, if you're the UAE, are you looking to survive this power play? Or are you looking to go over the top?
Trying to get a calculated risk and get that scoreboard ticking. Yes, you lost first wicket. Doesn't matter. A good batting lineup to come.
See, the interesting thing here for the UAE is they're facing up to Ashmina Karmacharya, who's been incredibly impressive so far today. The pick of the bowlers for Nepal. Two deliveries left now in the power play. Ashmina. That's full. There you go.
Given.
Absolutely. We were talking about that cover region coming into play. And yet again, you can see Nepal so excited. It's the massive wicket of Isha Oza. You got to say Isha Oza probably the best batter in the tournament. But for now, her head is bowed down. She is walking back to the dugout. And like we were saying, Yusri, you got to get those 2 early wickets if you want to have a chance of defeating the UAE. Yusri, I'm going to put you on the spot. Which dugout would you rather be in right now?
Definitely Nepal. Nepal has taken the 2 key wickets in the power play. And Ashmina was testing to both the batters on the offside, keeping that short extra cover fielder. One mistake.
Here we go. New batter walking to the crease is number 21, Khushi Sharma. I watched a lot of the UAE playing, and I have to say I haven't seen much of Khushi Sharma with the bat. But the UAE in uncharted territory, I don't think we've seen much of UAE players outside of those top 3.
I think for the first time of this series, UAE batters were tested by Nepali bowlers. Incredible work by the bowlers from Nepal, especially Ashmina, not giving much room to play, asking the batter to play the shot.
Here we go. Khushi Sharma, first ball. Oh, that one just swinging in. Push down the ground, a quick single. Oh, a bit of a misfield there. Looks like Sita Rana Mugger, a clean take. Could have had Khushi Sharma in trouble. Yusri, imagine if the UAE were 3 down in the power play. But for now, it's 25 for 2 after 6. There we go. That signal from the umpire signaling the end of the power play. $25 for 2 for the UAE. The good news is Kavisha Kumari Igodige is still at the crease.
Ashmina bowled 13 dot deliveries in the 18 deliveries she bowled. Brilliant. 7 runs with 2 wickets. Will she continue from the fine? Sitarana from the combox end.
Here we go. Sita Rana Magar, the left arm spinner. Oh, that one just coming on with the arm. A thickish inside edge to long on for a single.
For Khushi and Kavisha, they have to rebuild this UAE innings. They need to stay positive. Play off another 7 to 8 overs. At least get about 40 to 35 runs.
Left arm spinner. There we go. Flighted up. A good amount of spin as well off this wicket. And if you're the UAE spinners, if you're Vaishnavi Mahesh, if you're Suraksha Kote, if you're Isha Oza, this is encouraging. But what's less encouraging for the UAE is the scoreline right now. Nepal in the box seat. Oh, that's a big appeal!
Q1!
3rd wicket down now. And it's the massive wicket of Kavisha Kumari Igodige. So that top 3, Tirtha, Isha, Kavisha, are now back in the dugout. This is huge. This is huge.
Jay, we just talked about 3 wickets if in the power play. It's not that far away. 6.3 overs, 26 for 3.
My word, I did not see this happening at the start of the day, Yusri. I would not have predicted this. I don't think a lot of Nepal fans predicted this either. But for now, striding to the middle, it's Chaya Mughal in at number 5, the skipper. She's going to have to play a captain's knock. Khushi Sharma hasn't batted much in T20I cricket. She's batting at number 4 today. And of course, for the UAE, a big hole in their lineup. Chamini Senavaratne, their regular number 4, not here for this tournament. I'm not entirely sure why that's the case. I have a feeling it's working commitments. Nonetheless, in the absence of Chamini Senavaratne, Khushi Sharma has been pushed up to number 4. Chaya Mughal coming in at number 5. And Yusri, I gotta say, Nepal in this game, early favorites.
They have turned it on today. They have done the homework really well and executing perfectly. Yes, in the early couple of overs. There were a couple of mistakes were happened. It's about to happen on a big day.
Mate, I'm absolutely loving this contest right now. The underdogs, the mini underdogs in this game, Nepal. They've hit back and they've hit back strong. 3 wickets inside the first 7 overs. Sitarana Mugger, the fair breaker, the left arm spinner, tosses that up, and Chaya Mughal, she's like, I do not want to mess with you right now.
Nepal being the dark horses in this series.
There we go, a faster one, pushed to backward point. It's another dot ball. There we go. End of the over. 26 for 3. Nepal absolutely racing through these overs now.
Jay, earlier on this today, we were talking about whether Nepal can give a good fight. Whether UAE took too easy on Nepal in the semi-finals.
I don't think that's the case at all. The UAE, they never underestimate the opposition. Even when playing weaker opposition, they've always sent their strongest 3 batters into bat first. And I have to say, I'm not sure if that's always the right call. Here we go. We have a change in bowling. That's tossed up, down to long on for an easy single. Khushi Sharma. So Khushi Sharma, her score ticking on nicely. She's 3 not out off 3 deliveries, in fact. And that's what you have to do if you're the UAE. Just tick that scoreboard over. Make sure if you're not getting the boundaries, at least you're not losing wickets. For the next 3 overs or so, even if you're getting 4 or 5 runs and over, you get up to that score of 40 for 3 after 10. You're giving yourself a chance here. That's tossed up. A good drive there from Chaya Mughal. She's off the mark. Loud cheers here from the UAE dugout. They know how important it is for the captain to get well set in this innings.
Ajay, with the 3 early wickets, probably now UAE may be trying to get that 120, 130 runs mark, the first target.
That's pushed into the offside. Sitarana Mugger cuts that off.
Easily that once you take early wickets, how your targets reduces.
Oh, play and a miss and a big appeal there from the wicketkeeper. The umpire, he's unmoved, but more importantly, Nepal, they continue to turn the screws on this UAE lineup.
Nepal pumped up. Looks really, really positive right now compared to how they started. You can see that fighting spirit.
That's driven. She's gone aerial. And it looks like she's going to collect 2 long off runs around. Oh, a bit of a run out chance there. Perhaps a direct hit would have had UAE in trouble.
That's a little bit shuffle in the middle. They were like, yes, no, yes, no. The last moment to decide to go for the second run. Could have been ended up with a wicket.
Here we go, Sangeeta Rai. She's been lofted straight down the ground. Hasn't quite found the gap there. So it's just going to be a single, but Khushi Sharma looking really good in this innings. End of the over, 31 for 3. The UAE after 8 overs.
Now Khushi Sharma is trying to break in her shuttles and get UAE get going from here. Get to 100 runs mark. UAE 31 for 3. Not a pleasant of start. Sitarana continues 2 overs, 6 runs for 1 wicket. The 9 not dot deliveries. Sitarana doing really well, bowling to that wicket to wicket line. And interestingly, they have a 6-3 field. Four fielders guarding the boundary line. Deep mid wicket, long on, long off, and sweeper cover. This is what you need from UAE batters. Keep the scoreboard ticking. No time, you will put that pressure back on Nepali women's. Delivery.
That one perhaps. Oh, a bit of a misfield there by fine leg. It's not going to cost Nepal anything, just a single. But the good thing for the UAE is boundaries are not coming, but they're ticking that strike over. Khushi Sharma as well looks to be hitting the ball really, really well. Khushi Sharma, of course, very, very tall, using that long reach, using those long levers.
And a miss. That's the end of over number 9. UAE 35 for 3.
Look at that. Khushi Sharma on your screens right now. So much work for her to do. 8 off 11. Chaya Mughal. She's going to be on strike. 3 off 6. The UAE skipper. Here we go. Sangeeta Rai, the off spinner. That's a little bit short. Punched off the back foot just in front of square on the offside. They're looking for 2. Are they going to get more than that? You better believe it. A bit of a misfield there on the boundary. You cannot afford to give bonus runs away to the opposition when you have your foot on their throat.
It's this kind of feeling that you're not doing a lot of favors to the bowlers. Bowling really well. Keep into that tight line to your field.
The important thing to remember is UAE have a strong bowling lineup. Khushi Sharma, Samira Dharnidarka, Induja Nandkumar, and a bunch of spinners as well. That's been punched away. Chaya Mughal, is she going to get 2? Just thinking about it, it's not there. Like we said, those 3 seamers, Vaishnavi Mahesh, Suraksha Kote, Isha Oza, the UAE, they have all bases covered in the bowling department. Here we go. Sangeeta. That's shorter, faster, and that's slapped to that deep cover fielder for just a single.
Yes, Jay, if you need to win this game, Nepal need to restrict UAE below 100. Knowing that the bowling.
That's driven. Really good hands. A high elbow. A bit of a misfield there from Sangeeta Rai. So sloppiness here from Nepal. An additional 2 runs given away with the misfield on that boundary. And now another single. due to a misfield. That's 3 bonus runs. The UAE now just starting to build a bit of a partnership and get back into the game. That's shorter. That's edged away to a short third man. It's not going to be any run.
Kushi Sharma, 9 of 13.
Apsari Begum there at a short third man. A very, very good fielder. One of Nepal's finest. There we go. That's tucked off the legs down to long on for a single. Kushi Sharma into double figures. She's 10 off 14. The UAE 43 for 3 after 10. And with that, we're going to have a small break in play. We will be back with you in around 90 seconds from now. Be a big book. Yeah, it would be a big help if you could get the box. I see a box over here. I just put it myself. Hold on, let me count. How many inches is this? I'd say 2 inches. Six inches.
J. Rubina Shetty has started the proceedings from the combox end.
Oh, that one just going on with the arm and well guided away. It's going down to that boundary, fine on the offside. An important stop there.
Couple of runs for UAE. Very important phase of the game. Three for 3.
This is really good as well from Chaya Mughal and from Kushi Sharma.
I mean, an easy double run, previous delivery, just taken single.
Oh my word, Yusri, I'm incredibly surprised that was just a single.
Going towards the boundary line.
I just assumed the batters would have crossed back for 2.
Including me, Jay. Even the fielder was fumbled at the deep, didn't collect it the first time.
I guess much like the commentators, the two batters at the crease were also ball watching.
Straight to long on. A single. Sharma has to take on from here. So what would be the best score from here for UAE to defend?
At the very least, if you're the UAE, you want that magical three-figure score of 100, right? So first things first, get yourself into a position to avoid, an absolute disaster. But ideally, something around 110 against Nepal, I think it could be a winning score. So for Nepal, if they want to come out victorious in this game, they have to be really, really careful not to give away big overs, no misfields, none of that. You have to keep your foot on the opposition's throat. That's fired in. Good stuff here. That looks like Indu Burma. Indu Burma, of course, loves firing that ball in. The quickest of the UAE spinners, that's into the offside, and it's taken by backward point. A massive wicket here. The UAE lose yet another wicket. And it looks like it's Khushi Sharma walking back to the dugout, that number 4 batter. So all 4 of the UAE's top 4 batters have now been dismissed.
A simple catch to Ashmina Karmacharya. She did no mistake taking that catch and sending Khushi Sharma back to the pavilion after scoring 12 runs of 19 deliveries.
And like we said before on the broadcast, the UAE's middle order very, very untested. A little bit raw and tender.
4 wickets down for UAE for just 46 runs in the 12th over in proceeding. Nepal doing a great job.
The UAE, of course, winning 18 T20Is in a row. That winning streak had to end at some point. Unfortunately for the UAE, it's looking increasingly likely that that winning streak is under threat today. And there's so much work here to do for Samaira Dharnidarka and Chaya Mughal. Samaira, of course, the teenager, has a reputation of being a big hitter. So far, it hasn't come off for her in her T20I career. But today, hey, who knows? Today could be the day for Samaira.
Keeping that tight line, to allowing the batters to go freely. Well bowled by Nepal.
Once again, nothing uncomplicated. Nothing complicated, I beg your pardon, from Indu Burma. Just keeping it straight, not even trying to spin the ball more often than not. And I have to say, Yusri, that's all that's required at this point.
Yep, that's hot. Low side off.
Samaira, she wanted that wide delivery. The UAE, they wanted that bonus run as well. But that's what happens sometimes when things aren't going for you. Oh, things really aren't going for you. But full credit here to Nepal.
So Nepal has come very well prepared for this game. Executing really well whatever the plans they had. Getting early 4 wickets, putting the pressure on, and not allowing the UAE to go free.
Absolutely. It's 47 for 4 now. After 12, that run rate is back under 4 runs and over. That mini recovery from the UAE has been thwarted by Nepal. Rubina Chaitri ringing the changes. She's going to continue from that other end. Here we go, Rubina Chaitri bowling the 13th over. That's swept away, square leg cuts that off. Samaira Darni Darka will have a role to play with the ball, the fastest of the UAE's bowlers. Watch out for that mean bouncer that she possesses. That one just coming on with the arm pushed into the offside, a quick single. Yeah, there we go. There's an appeal from the keeper. But quick early calling there from the captain, leading from the front here. She's 10 off 12 to score 48 for 4. We have 4 deliveries left now in the 13th over.
It's nice to see in each delivery, whenever they take wickets, they are pumped up, showing that aggression on the field.
Bang! Into the leg side. It's just going to be a single. There's cover in place. Look at that. Kabita Kunwar. Oh, a direct hit on that occasion. And the batters will scamper through for an additional run. So 2 runs in total there for Chaya Mughal.
The backup fielder was never expecting that to hit the stumps.
There we go, 50 up now for the UAE, going at exactly 4 runs and over. Well, after that ball, just under 4 runs and over.
Good job by Nepal. Giving a tough time to UAE.
Good work there from the cover fielder. Just cuts that off to a single. So perhaps a little bit too short there, Rubina Chaitri. And Chaya Mughal rocking onto the back foot. Chaya is ticking along really, really well. Samaira, of course, looking to give her some good company from the other end. That's pushed straight to Sita Rana Magar in that short cover position. And with that, it's the end of the 13th over, 51 for 4, the UAE.
For UAE, these 2 batters has to play off. And Chaya has to go on till the end. She has to play through the full quota of 20 overs. And ask the other end batter to take some risk. Accumulate a few more runs to the team.
That's pushed, cover, cuts that off. Like I said before, Indu Burma, a really good bowler to be bowling in this situation. She fires it in. She's almost more like a medium pacer than an off spinner. Here she goes again. Pushed straight back to Indu. Another dot ball, consecutive dot balls here to kick off the 14th over.
She varies the speed and flight.
Oh, that one just rushing on to the right-hander. Chaya Mughal unable to do much with that. Just a single there to deep mid-wicket.
That's what happens when you have that mixing that varies the speed. She was expecting a little faster. She was a bit quicker to play that shot. Last moment she realized it was a bit slower.
Samaira still looking for her first boundary. Ooh, a play and a miss. But Yusri, we were talking about that magical 3-figure total of 100. It's looking increasingly less likely.
Yep. Disciplined bowling by Nepalese, making difficult to UAE to get that three figures on the scoreboard.
It's pulled away in front of square. That one not coming off the middle of the bat. Going down to long on for just a single. That's not going to do it for the UAE. 2 singles off this over so far. 1 delivery left. Chaya Mughal eyeing up that leg side region. It's a 6-3 offside field to the supposed off spinner Indu Burma. Smacked. Is that out? Yes! The UAE have now lost half their side, and a celebration here from Nepal's fielders. This is going from bad to worse to absolutely disastrous here for the UAE. 53 for 5 after 14 overs.
Jay, that dot deliveries kept increasing pressure on the UAE batters to play some risky shots. The ball was not there to play that shot. They played straight to the field.
Absolutely. Priyanjali Jain now walking in at number 7. The UAE veteran, she's been around forever. One of the admins of Associate Women in Cricket, that Facebook group, also run by Yaz Daswani and Ruchi Venkatesh of Hong Kong. And that Facebook group, one of the best places to be if you are a fan of associate cricket and women's cricket. The online community, I'm sure they are tuned into this game. The likes of Rob Harvey from talking about women's cricket. Another very popular Facebook group there. And just that organic fandom, that organic reach. So important for growing the women's game. That's down the ground. Has she found the gap? Yes, she has, but she doesn't have the power on it. Samaira Darni-Darka, just a single. The UAE in desperate need of boundaries. They're going to have to go at around 8 runs and over to get that magical 100 score. It's looking so unlikely at this point. Yusri Rauf, am I being too harsh?
UAE hasn't turned up yet today.
That shorter pushed into the offside, just a single. Nepal will be happy with this. Singles and dot balls. As long as they can cut off those boundaries, it's all good. It's all gravy for Nepal here at the Kinrara Oval. Rubina Chetri, the skipper. 4 deliveries left in the 15th over. It's all 5s, 55 for 5. Ooh, Rubina, she is so harsh on herself. She knows that perhaps that was a little too wide. The umpire not signaling, I beg your pardon, a wide delivery on that occasion. There we go, fired in. Another dot ball for Rubina. She's yet to concede a single boundary in her spell, keeping it tight. The off-spinner, the Nepal captain, definitely the happier of the 2 skippers here today at the Kinrara Oval. There we go. Loud cheers here from the Nepal dugout. Most of Nepal's players, of course, they're on the field right now. And still, those who remain in the dugout are so vociferous. There you go. Turned off her legs to deep mid-wicket. Just a single.
Jay, there were 50 dot deliveries in 90 deliveries Nepal has bowled.
Juice-free, I love how you always have your eyes on the numbers, bro. Cricket, a very numerical game, and these numbers for Nepal looking so good. 56 for 5 after 15.
More than half of the deliveries are being dot deliveries. That's why Nepal, UAE has been lost their 5 wickets under the pressure.
Absolutely, make no mistake, this has been the best bowling effort of the tournament so far from Nepal. Indu Burma, she's going to keep it tight. There you go, down to long on. It's just going to be a single. That fielder there getting that long barrier out. Nepal doing the basics right.
The way these things are going, UAE probably can manage to about 80 to 90 runs, which Nepal will be gladly take that.
Priyanjali Jain just weighing up her options. There's a gap there once again at deep square leg. Ooh, not quite finding the gap. It's going to be a single, Kavita Kunwar at fine leg. Ah, there you go. Second direct hit of the innings from Kavita Kunwar. Luckily, this time, no overthrows. Kavita Kunwar, of course, I believe she has 2 overs in hand. Ashwina Karmacharya, she still has 1 left in the kitty. You have to say, Rubina Chaitri just spoiled for choices here at the death of the innings. That's tossed up, driven confidently, but it's just a single there to long off. Yusri, where do the UAE get their boundaries from?
UAE probably need to play another couple of overs, keeping their wickets in hand to go for the last 2 overs. Keep the scoreboard ticking.
There we go, into the offside, another single.
Samaira has to play that long handle.
Here we go. I'm getting a lot of messages on WhatsApp. Nepali fans absolutely loving this game. There we go. A big appeal. And yeah, there you go. It's given. Dead in front. The only logical decision there from the umpire. Now, 60 for 6, the UAE. It's hard to see how they're going to come back into this contest.
Indu Barma, brilliant bowling. 1 more delivery to go on her 4 overs quota. 14 for 3. 11 dot deliveries.
That's right. 60 for 6 now. 1 delivery left in the 16th over. Samaira Darnidarka, the teenager, she's going to have a role to play with the ball, but she hasn't been able to muster too much with the bat. There we go. Leg spinner Vaishnavi Mahesh. She was looking up at the skies. She knows the UAE have an absolute mountain to climb here. They're 60 for 6. She runs out to the middle to join Priyanjali Jain. Both right-handers. They have 25 balls left to play with in this innings. It's really hard to see the UAE working their way back into this contest. But it's one of those things, never say never. Nepal, of course, will be dealing with the pressure of a run chase. Do not underestimate what's at stake here in this tournament, in this match. Whoever wins this game goes on to the Asia Cup to face India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Thailand. The stakes are absolutely massive. The pressure is intense. For a lot of these players, it's the biggest game of their careers, perhaps the biggest day of their lives.
Final delivery for Indu Barma.
That's worked away. Work to do here for Kavita Kunwar. She's going to get around. Yes, she does. The batters get back for 2. So the UAE 62 for 6 after 16. Indu Barma take a bow. Figures of 3 for 16 off her 4 overs. Yusri Rauf, what a fantastic day it's been for Indu Barma.
Yep, kept testing all the batters, whoever came from UAE. As a result, getting 3 wickets in a big game like this.
Mate, you're 100% right. A big game, 3 wickets. This is a top-notch performance from Indu Barma, one of Nepal's biggest players. She's going to have a role to play with the bat, but for now, it's Rubina Chaitri. There you go. Another dot ball, still no boundaries for the UAE. How do they come back into this contest? I'm sure a lot of people, whether you're in Dubai, whether you're in Abu Dhabi, Fujairah, Ajman, any of the Emirates, you're watching closely, you've got your fingers crossed. You're hoping for a bit of a mini miracle here. You're hoping for those boundaries, but where are they going to come from?
It's a do-or-die game for Nepal to qualify for that Asia Cup.
Rubina Chaitri, here we go. That's on the leg stump, whipped away. No runs on offer, Vaishnavi Mahesh. She's 2 off 1 right now.
Hindu Burma was well supported by Rubina as well. She's bowling her final over.
Absolutely, I beg your pardon. It was actually Priyanjali Jain on strike, facing consecutive dot balls now.
That dot ball pressure still keeping on. UAE. 4 more wickets in hand. Can they cross 90 runs mark?
Down the ground. Has she found the gap? No, she hasn't. Kabita Kunwar makes no mistake. Just a single there, down to long off. 1 of the first 5 deliveries of this over. Priyanjali Jain. In a way, you can't really blame her. The pressure is intense. Nepal not making a single mistake. Vaishnavi Mahesh, she's finally on strike. 2 off 1 for the leg spinner. She's looking at that leg side boundary. Where do I get that for? She goes aerial. She hasn't got this, but gets enough to clear Sita Rana Magar in that short cover region. Just a single. 64 for 6 now. 3 overs left in this contest. Yusri, if you are the UAE, what sort of target are you looking at?
I will probably try to play off another 1 more over, keep the wickets in hand, take 5 to 6 runs in that next over, get closer to that 70 runs mark. Then last 2 overs, go on attack. Nothing to lose. Do or die.
Mate, I'm going to be completely honest. I did not see this coming at the start of the day. It's not like I wasn't giving Nepal a chance. That would be incredibly foolish. But 64 for 6 after 17. I could not have imagined this scoreline. Sita Rana Magar is going to ensure that things will not get much easier for the UAE. There you go. A bonus run for the UAE. That one just going down the leg side.
Sita Rana bowling her final over. 10 runs for 1 wicket. With this wide, she will go for 11 runs. The Burma 4 overs, 16 for 3. And Rubina 4 overs, 12 for none.
Oh, down the leg side. Consecutive wides. Sita Rana Magar. You don't see that from her too often.
Nepal was not looking for that from Sita Rana. So the bounce back.
There you go. That's into the leg side. Deepened wicket. That's too easy. Does a good job. Cuts that off. Just a single. Singles are not going to do it for the UAE. Nepal, they're happy with these results.
5 fielders inside the circle. Short fine. Backward point.
There you go. A high elbow down to long on. Still no boundary. Priyanjali Jain, though, at least she keeps that scoreboard ticking. You get the feeling the UAE just need that one boundary to perhaps break the shackles. There you go, over the top. I don't think she's going to get that boundary. Long on, does a really good job, runs around, cuts that down to 2.
Very expensive over so far. 5 runs coming in. Or rather 6 runs coming in 3 deliveries. And very good over for UAE. This is the over they were looking for to get the momentum.
There you go, into the leg side. It's a chance. Ooh, that one goes to ground. It was a very tough chance. And the UAE scampered through for 2. Yusri, not easy taking those running back.
It's you have to be very strong. She wasn't sure whether she will be on time. The last moment she realized it was within her grasp. She couldn't split it over.
Good thing is Vaishnavi Mahesh, she looks to be making good connection on those deliveries. There you go, on the legs, and it's going to be a single. Ooh, Kabita Kunwar. Taking on that throw is usually not a good idea, but the UAE, they need to run for everything right now, looking at a total somewhere in the region of 90 or 95. Even that is going to be very tough for them. Oh, a play and a miss. There you go. The umpire raises her finger. His finger, I beg your pardon. Priyanjali Jain caught out of a crease. She's stumped, and the UAE now 73 for 7 after 18.
It was a win-win over for both the teams. UAE got 9 runs out of that over, but they lost a wicket. Very important wicket. 7 wickets down. 73 runs in 18 overs. Srita Rana completed her 4 overs, given 19 runs for 2 wickets. Sangeeta Rai from the combox end to continue. Vaishnavi has to take the game from here. Anjali departed for a score of 4 runs of 10 deliveries. 9 of 6. Can she get a respectable total for UAE? Straight down. That not... Oh, the misfield. Allow a boundary. 2 runs extra. Sari is disappointed with that effort. And long off. She could have been easily stopped it. UAE moves to 77 for 7. 3 wickets in hand. Sangeeta Rai is disappointed with that effort. Fielders, short third, backward point, short extra covers. Sweeper cover, a long off, long on, and a deep mid wicket. So we're playing a brilliant knock for UAE. Trying to get the team to a respectable total. 14 of 9. Sujananda Kumar. Watchfully played. Straight to the bowler. No chance of a run. 2 more deliveries to go in the 19th over. UAE 78 for 7. The appeal for stumping. This time I think she has moved her leg at all, so she's safe. No chance of a run. Yet another great delivery. Sangeeta Rai. 2 overs, 10 runs. End of over number 19, UAE 78 for 7. Can they get 90 runs on the board, at least.
Make absolutely no mistake in the context of this game, in the context of Asia Cup qualification, an absolutely massive 6 balls coming up. And who better to bowl those 6 deliveries than Ashmina Karmacharya? She got the ball rolling for the UAE, 2 for 7 in her first 3 overs. Broke the back of that UAE top order. Here we go, Ashmina. Oh, that's too short, too wide. Oh, the fielder there in the deep. A bit of a misfield. And it looks like maybe it could be a boundary. She fires that throw in. We're looking for the signal from the umpire. No signal. So in the end there, a good recovery from the fielder, but that misfield in the first place, just giving the UAE an extra run.
She was in two minds whether to go for the catch or whether stop that boundary. It's a process. She missed it completely. Recovered well. Could have been costed 2 more runs.
And I have to say, a lot of 2s in this innings so far from Vaishnavi Mahesh. It's been a good little innings from here. From her, I bet. Beg your pardon. Ooh, there you go. That's pulled straight to long off. There you go. That celebration, that Jukega Nahi celebration from Sita Rana Magar. Takes that well at long off. It's a wicket, which means Vaishnavi Mahesh has to walk back to the dugout. An impressive innings from her. Unable to get that boundary on this occasion.
Yeah. Good innings of short innings, 16 runs of 11 deliveries. And a great job for UAE to get that 80 runs on the board. Otherwise, they would have been trouble below to 80 runs.
Made absolutely so crucial here from Nepal. That dot ball pressure, that scoreboard pressure has led to that wicket. It was an interesting shot as well. Attempting a bit of a straightish pull, not getting all of it. A bit of a top edge there, too long off. Here we go, Induja Nandakumar. She is eyeing up that leg side field yet again. It's a 6-3 offside field. Ashmina, you've got to bowl outside that off stump. That's exactly what she does. She's cut away. And it's going to be a second wicket of the over here. Sangeeta Rai now joining in the celebrations. Nepal, absolutely ecstatic. Look at this. Look at that. Ashmina Karmacharya. Take a bow. 4 wickets today.
Jay, Ashmina on a hat-trick now.
Made good catch amidst all that excitement. I completely missed the fact that she's going to be on a hat-trick. There you go now. Wickets continue to fall here from the UAE. Induja Nandakumar with those sunglasses on, ironically. The clouds have started to circle over the Kinrara Oval. And the clouds also circling over the UAE innings.
Can rain save UAE? Or whether Nepal can beat the weather and the superior team UAE today for the big game, the semi-finals, qualifiers for the Asia Cup as well. Three more deliveries to go in this innings of UAE. 80 for 9.
Just 1 wicket in hand. Hat-trick ball. Oh, no. That's been put down by the keeper. A run-out chance. Oh, my God. It's all happening here for Nepal at the Kinrara Oval. And after all that madness, a useful single to the UAE. Yusri, I think that was actually a play and a miss. I don't believe she got a nick on that.
The way Ashmina was disappointed seems like found some edge.
I think it was all just the excitement of that hat-trick delivery. Ashmina Karmacharya, you have to say, it's been a fantastic day for her. She's taken 4. Indu Barma's taken 3. UAE have lost 9. There you go. That's a big appeal and it's given. All out. The UAE are all out for 81 with one delivery left in the 20th over. And it's a 5-wicket haul for Ashmina Karmacharya. This has to be one of the highlights of her career. Look at that. Being lifted onto the shoulders by Nepal fielders. Look at this. What a statement from Nepal. They've bowled the UAE out for 81, justifying that decision to bowl first from Rubina Chaitri. Absolutely massive. You have to say, Nepal, red hot favorites to qualify for that Asia Cup.
Jay, you can see the whole team is happy for Ashmina's that feat of match back of 5 wickets for 10 runs.
Mate, Yusri, I'm going to call it now. This is the best bowling display that we've seen from any bowler in the tournament. 5 for 10 against the pre-tournament favorites. Absolutely ridiculous scenes here at the Kinrara Oval. The UAE all out for 81. We talked about the importance of getting up to 90 to have something to bowl at. There we go, that batting card for the UAE. Isha Oza, top scoring, 15 off 21. It was Vaishnavi Mahesh top scoring with 16 off 11. But not much to speak of there in that UAE batting card. 5 for Tirtha Satish, Kavisha Igodige, 3 off 8.
Kushi Sharma, 12 of 19, and Chaya Mughal, 14 of 19.
So there you go. The bowling card. 5 wickets for 10 runs for Ashmina Karmacharya. The headline act here today at the Kinrara Oval. Indu Barma chipping in with 3 for 16. Sita Rana Magar, the left-arm spinner, 2 for 19. Everyone else, even if they didn't take a wicket, they kept it so tight. Rubina Chaitri, none for 12 in her 4 overs.
For a moment, they were looking recovering well for the 4th wicket when they had a 20 runs partnership. Apart from that, they were losing every wicket and every given time. So kept that dot ball pressure, you can see from your bowling card.
Yes, absolutely. So there you have it. 81 all out, the UAE, with 1 delivery left in the 20th over. I'm one of your commentators for the day, Jay Dansinghani. If you like what you've heard, you can always follow me on Twitter at J Dansinghani. And of course, be sure to follow the Malaysian Cricket Association, the Asian Cricket Council, across their social media channels, as well as Crick Tracker. Do be sure to give them a follow on social media. My co-commentator for the day, Yusri Rauf, my co-pilot. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will be back with you in around 7 minutes from now for the second innings. Welcome back to the Kinrara Oval. I wish I had better news for you. Unfortunately, the news from the center is the match has been called off. Nepal, of course, bowling the UAE out for 81 in that first innings. They looked good to potentially chase down that target of 82, but not to be. So the UAE, congratulations to them. They will progress to the Asia Cup, where they will face India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Thailand. So congratulations to the UAE. Commiserations to all Nepal fans out there. But the official word is that this game has now been called off.
Yeah, it's a very emotional moment for Nepalese to beat UAE in a big stage in the semi-finals and qualify for the Asia Cup. Sad scene where the comes across. You can't stop that.
And just to fill you in on further details, there will be no Player of the Match award. The match ball, however, has been given to Ashmina Karmacharya for taking 5 for 10 in that first innings from Nepal. A memorable performance for her. Unfortunately, the result will not be very memorable, especially if you are a Nepal fan.
Yeah, Nepal really down there in the room, match players' room, with the match referee's announcement of the match is being cancelled. So UAE will be progressed to the finals tomorrow on basis of they have been the table topper in the group stage, and they have a lucky escape there. Jay.
It's a mixture of luck, but at the end of the day, the UAE, there's a reason they've won 18 T20I internationals in a row, undefeated in this tournament as well. So it's one of those things. In a sense, they have been lucky today. You never know. Perhaps Nepal would have faltered in that chase of 82. But at the end of the day, there's not too much we can do. The weather has played spoil sport today. In any case, I'm one of your 2 commentators for the day, Jay Dansinghani. If you like what you've heard, you can always visit me and follow me on Twitter at Jay Dansinghani. Follow the MCA across our social media channels, as well as the ACC and Crick Tracker. Yusri Rolf, it's been a pleasure being joined by you in the commentary box, my co-pilot.
Thanks, Jay. It was a wonderful experience working with you. And yes, we'll be back again. Yes, of course, without me. You'll be coming live again for the second semi-finals, Hong Kong versus Malaysia.
Absolutely. We hope to have good news for you about that game between Hong Kong and Malaysia. So stay tuned to our social media updates on the MCA Twitter handle. But for now, congratulations to the UAE, and we'll see you soon.